All right, the other stream is about to be up and running. There it is. Should be live now. All right, we'll be going over the market and today's plays. Market closes in about 40 seconds. Just want to give you a heads up. I will be out the next couple days, and so we will pick back up on Monday. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for November 17th, 2021. Qs flat on the day, SPY down about 1/4%, and then we have the IWM down 1.3%. By gapping down today and then breaking underneath, bit of a double bottom there on the IWM. That's the closing bell there. IWM actually starting a downtrend now. So underneath today's low, bearish on the IWM. Okay, IWM turning around. Qs and SPY, however, are not quite ending the hourly uptrend quite yet. There is a pullback here in place. Still have the rising 20. We could move up from here. If we break below, then neutral, because we don't really have the downtrend quite yet on the hourly for the Qs and SPY. So a little bit more strength in those, especially the Qs. SPY weaker today because financials were weak, especially the Visa and the MasterCard. All right, so we've been bullish on the Qs and SPY this week. We did get some follow through, especially on the Qs here today, moved up some more. Will we be weakening? It did accelerate here a little bit in the morning. Maybe just a short-term top, but we'll see. Right now, we still have an hourly uptrend on the Qs. And SPY also weakening a little bit, but really it's the IWM that surprisingly now trying to roll over, but the daily is into a bit of a pullback here. So even with the bearishness in the IWM, still short-term bearishness because the larger time frames are still in an uptrend. Okay. All right, let's get into today's plays. I did not think today was all that easy of a day. I saw some pretty tricky stuff out there. The Zim, for instance, okay gap, not exceptional. It is clearing some resistance, still has some up above. But when I saw that take off this morning, I thought, man, maybe I missed a good one. And maybe if you had played it, you probably would have got a little bit out. But, I mean, failed right away. Pretty quick there on the failure. So that was the Zim. I did give you numbers for the PAVM. Like the way that this was transitioning lower right here. Little base right there. I think it was off the 1 and the 2 minute right here on the PAVM. We'll show it to you right there. So yeah, 20 MA catching up, trying to roll over. A little bit of a breakdown there. Did not work either, the PAVM. That one failed. So some trickier stuff this morning. Now, I think what helped with both of these, or at least keeping me out of these, is that they weren't really favorites. STNE was my favorite gap down, and then followed by DLO and DLB. Here's what the daily's on this. So STNE, I like that it moved up. Now gapping underneath the recent move up there. DLO I liked as well, basing and then breaking down, and then DLB ended up being a little bit too thin, but I guess I got bought anyway. This one ended up being pretty spready, and you can even just, I mean, yeah, look at the chart here. I mean, this bar here, let's see, high to low there is about 70 cents. You can see the gap there between these two bars. That tells you that this closed 87.33 and then opened 87.18. So at that time you had at least 15-cent spread going on. All right, so this one ended up being a little bit spready. DLO I didn't end up catching, had a nice breakdown here at the end of the day, which I think was okay to play. I just thought it kind of was going from multiple bars into the break. STNE though, that was pretty good. Sammy had a call on this as well on the STNE. Just played the very first here sell setup on the STNE. There it is. So I didn't catch this initial move lower, but just as a sell setup right here. That was the play for me. Didn't get filled full on this actually because it was supposed to be under 75, and I think Yeah, when I saw it at 30 something, and I'd only gotten filled about half the shares, I canceled it. So I wasn't able to get full on this one. Probably could have added later on because this ended up being really nice, just closing here at the lows, in fact. Yeah, so this was good, STNE. So the good gaps, at least the favorite acting like the favorite. Now the longs, however, didn't really act really all that well, I thought. VREX was my favorite gap up. Was planning to do this also in the afternoon until it negated the pattern. I was looking to play this breakout here. Came in instead. And then rallied up to take out the top, but I wasn't interested in it anymore, especially not after that move. And then TJX I liked, but TJX I think got sold initially and then never really gave a pattern. So there it is, got sold first. Never really able to resume the uptrend. You see it tried to pop here, but still no pattern really. And so then here's the gap on this one. Nice, clearing some resistance, got sold. So I thought it was a little bit tricky, kind of one of the days where doing less was more, I thought. So being picky. Now you never really know if today's gonna be that day. Sometimes, I'll get this question, like, do we need to slow down because we're getting close to a holiday, or this kind of thing, and maybe for some people it helps to have that kind of approach. I try to just do what's given. Okay, now I don't know what's going to be given, and maybe there is some truth to that as we get closer to Thanksgiving, or as we get to some of the half days and things, we get to Christmas and New Year's, that there's a little bit less to do, and so maybe be less aggressive. But what I don't like is if I really have it cemented in my mind that, okay, going into tomorrow, I'm going to do less, because now every time I'm faced with a potential trade, I'm going to be now fighting with myself. Do I take the trade? Do I not take the trade because I'm supposed to slow down, or whatever? So I don't want to just change the process or add in too much when there's already, I'm already going to be looking at the gap. I'm already going to be looking at the individual pattern, right? Then just make the case off of that. If you find out, okay, you know what, nothing is working, I've already had a couple of plays that don't work or whatever, maybe you can kind of slow down from that. But what I don't want to do is kind of handicap myself right from the beginning, or kind of create that just indecision right away. Okay, so so I didn't know today wasn't going to be like yesterday. I thought yesterday it was really busy, a lot to do, kind of from open to close. Today wasn't like that, but that's also, it doesn't necessarily need to lend itself to the bigger picture either. It could just be, today the gaps weren't as significant. Maybe the earnings reports weren't as shocking for some, or some of we didn't have like as many drug trial failures, or this news or that news. So it's just, every day is different. Doesn't always have to be so simple as, okay, well, it's a seasonality thing, right? Okay. So we definitely are moving out of earnings season. So if you're paying attention to the list, it's getting smaller and smaller each day. So, it's not abnormal for the pace to slow down a little bit. I think the thing is, you just don't want to kind of, I guess, overthink it, but also just put in, those arbitrary roadblocks for yourself during the trading day when you're trying to go through the appropriate analysis, but then constantly holding yourself back because you're trying to figure out or question whether or not, okay, should I, do not do this because of the time of the year, or because it's a Friday, or because it's this or that. Does that make sense? Okay. So yeah, so I think today just a little bit less to do. Thought there were some kind of tricky things, as has been the case at the Open especially. All right. So, use the gaps list to start. Okay. If we have a good gaps list, focus on those. I walked you through what the favorites were, right? The VREX, the TJX today, the STNE, the DLO, and DLB. I only ended up playing one, the STNE, and then DLO also worked, but I didn't play it. And then the VREX and the TJX never really set up. So, kind of start from there. If you got a really nice long list, then you can expect maybe it's going to be a little bit busier. If the list is really truncated, you go through the list and there's only a couple you want to trade at the open, or that are good quality gaps, you might find some more, and some might fix the issues, but it's a good basis to start with to know, okay, how busy, how aggressive am I going to be today with whatever's on that starting list, okay? And if you're in the room, we give you the list, right? At least 30 minutes before the Open, and then we go through them with you. So we tell you which ones we've deemed worth playing at the Open or favorites for the Open. All right. All right. Hope you guys did well today. Hope you're having a nice week. Like I said, I'll be out next couple days, but we'll be back on Monday. So best of luck for the next couple days. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you on Monday. Have a good evening, everyone.